Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. In this video, myself, Kalsker, Oskew, and a bunch of other Time and Attention members hang out. We're chatting about things like Runies. We're talking about the future utility and price appreciation for those. We're talking about guild development and getting into higher and higher fray levels and the cost associated with that. We're talking about meta. We're talking about rental costs. We're talking about champion leaderboards and so on. There's so much fun conversation here. I hope you'll stick around and watch this with us. Most of this is going to be just in-house conversation. There might be a clip or two that ends up on the YouTube channel, but this is pretty well unedited. It's an hour long, so check it out. Let us know what you think. And if you see Kalsker in the members only live channel on the Discord, make sure you get in there, hang out with them, say hello, watch, get to know them. This is such an important part of building what Time and Attention is in our community, and not to mention the knowledge base. We learn from one another while we're chatting in such a way. So guys, have an amazing day. God bless.
And there's a bunch of people that are going to hold them because they're going to use them. So there's some stability in that supply and demand equation. Just because there's a use case.
Totally. I was just then looking at how many people really benefit from a card like this, and then I thought, like, okay, it's probably the upper diamond and champ players.
Yeah, maybe 400 or 500.
Yeah, and then on the other hand, you have probably the gold leaderboard players. Those guys probably would also have the cash to pay for this,
right?
Because it's a luxury good, to be honest.
Yeah.
And how many people is this compared to the total collection? I think, how much is it? 6,000, 7,000 in total?
65.
Yeah, so the math didn't add up for me. So I'm more on the cautious side. I'm very happy with what I got. It's a very neutral guy. But then again, I'm very happy for everyone who makes a buck on this.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm not trying to make a bunch of money or anything. I listed these two. If they sell, I will mint another one, but my plan has been to keep two for the whole time.
Great.
Yeah, I want to keep two also, but I have a couple rare things on my two different ones. And I'm tempted to, if I could sell one for like a significant profit, I would. But if it's just going to be like a 0.44 or something like this, I'd rather just keep it. And use it on two accounts, or rent it out, or because I just think there's that side of it too. Even if there isn't the NFT side, or even if there isn't the real NFT audience outside of Splinterlands, I think there's still the Splinterlands opportunity. And I think for $400 or whatever it is, it's a really strong card.
I'm thinking about using the second one as like a reward and delegating it to someone in my guild. I'm the only one in Legion X that got a Runi.
I mean, everyone has a game plan, isn't it?
Yeah, and everybody's trying to work together and figure out their own way. And then also, I can't get these guys to, I can't just have them spend money and make their decks better without them wanting to do that. But if you look at our participation, like Narcata up here at 4,222, he's donated 35 scrolls from doing the dailies, but almost all of our other guys, 90, 100, 100, we've got a really good core, even though we've only got 16 people at the moment.
Wow, Narcata is crushing it, hey? 4,200?
Yeah. Good,
Yeah, he's top leader, but he's one of the best out there. He's got 3 or 4 accounts and he rents all over. And he is friends with one of the guys, Genesis, that's and they chat on Facebook, but Narcata doesn't really come into Discord. So it's like one of the guys, just because he's one of the best players out there, that we're happy to have him in helping us rank up.
Totally.
And helping us earn stuff.
Yep.
So we kind of let the participation in Discord go.
Yeah, I mean, there are some people in some of the Time and Attentions who they're quiet warriors too, right? It's just if they're contributing in some significant
Wayne,
ways.
have a look at the champ leaderboard in modern and look around 25. You will be quite surprised.
Champ leaderboard. Okay, leaders. I'm looking for time and attention. I'm looking. Is there a TNA? Is that what we're looking for here?
We have
Yes.
Necromancer.
Oh, I'm not seeing it. Oh, I'm looking in wild. It must be modern, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Look at modern. Kosker is right. Just look, what's it? 26, 27, 29, all
Yeah.
TNA 1.
Nice. Yeah.
Yeah, Necromancer, Diesel.
And then
Is that Lunesca?
Lunacisa.
And myself.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dude, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're right on the cusp, hey? Oscar, you're right on the cusp of getting that 40K DEC.
Yeah, well, I have to reach 4,350 by season end to be to get something.
I am in the crapper of the season, but I haven't really put in a sincere effort. I'm like, this season I made literally 200,000 DEC this season, just like 40,000 a day, 20 to 40,000 a day every day, renting my cards, and then I just cancel rentals in time for the guild brawls. Oh my goodness.
Unfortunately, that's the name of the game right now. It's more profitable to rent if you have a big collection than to play in champ.
I just had a panic attack because I was like, guild brawl, I forgot, I haven't checked when it started and when it's over.
We're about 12 hours in, I think.
Yeah. I thought the worst that came to mind, I waited too long, I missed it, oh my goodness.
And then here's our buildings. We are working on our arena again.
Nice.
Gonna get that to level 6 because that keeps us in the same phrase and maxes our earnings there at 4.5.
Mm-hmm.
And then we'll go back and do the barracks to level 5 and do the store to level 5.
What do you guys? I want to hear both of your thoughts on this. I listened to, who was I listening to? I think it might have been Tails. Yeah, it was Tails from the Cryptmancer was talking about guild brawls, the SBS payouts. He's like, if your arena is such that you're in tier 3, which you are, and Time Intention 1 is, and I think many of us are. If you're in tier 3, then you're amongst, like, I think he said 30 different teams are doing that. And then he said, if you are last in your tier, like you finish last, dead last, it amounts to roughly 100 SPS per. It should amount to roughly 100 SPS per player who submits battles. 100 SPS per brawl, which is amazing considering that's tier 3 and finishing like dead last. Do you have thoughts on like moving up to all the way up to level 4? Do you think that that math will change because the teams will move around? Like, any sort of comments on that from both of you guys?
I'm still in tier 2 because we don't have the players for those frays yet.
Gotcha.
And we really don't have the decks. We need a couple of better, bigger decks to move to that next level.
Oscar, do you think
we can play there? We're working on this, and also, I mean, you know this. We're reworking the kind of setup and competitiveness of TNA 1.
Mm-hmm.
So we definitely want to be there. But to be honest, I mean, you said it's amazing to get 100 SPS for brawls. I was talking to the guys, and they are, and me included, we were quite disappointed, to be honest.
For that level of pay?
Yeah, because what you need to have if you play in tier 3, and you know it because you've participated in a couple of brawls now, you need to rent a lot to be competitive. I mean, just remember last time we were on Discord together with Jim,
mm-hmm.
and we went through the cards that you had prepared just to participate in brawls.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite an investment, and then you look at just getting 100 SPS as a return is something like costs and income getting even. So basically you don't earn anything from it. And what is going to happen, I think Tails did the calculation, was it with 30 or 40 or 50 guilds? I don't know.
I think
But
30.
the thing is, yeah, I know of many
33,
people, myself included. I have my twink in one of the brawler guilds with YTG,
Yep.
and they're all playing on level 2. They all have the arenas to play level 3, but they don't have the cards, much like TNA 10.
Mm.
Yep.
But they say like once those juicy rewards come, they're going to just make the step to tier 3. That means instead of having 30 teams there, you probably have 50 or 60, which halves the income. So instead of getting 100 SPS per player for last place, you then get 50.
But then will it be, two questions come to mind. Will it be like he was looking at the bottom, you're the worst team of tier 3. We're going to be among the better teams. So maybe it's 200, maybe it's 400 SPS a person. I don't know. What do you think about that? And then also, if you really think it's not going to pay, does it make sense for us to figure out the DEC and get into that next fray, or get into that tier 4? Maybe that's the play.
It's kind of a rat race, exactly. We need to move on to tier 4 as quickly as we can, because the amount there is currently, or at the moment, I think they only have 1 or 2 guilds that are able to play in tier 4. So let's say by the time I had a quick look at it, I think we need 1,650 crowns to get there, which if we always win in tier 3, is 16 to 17 weeks.
Yeesh.
Which is basic. Yeah, that's quite some time. And the other top guilds are doing the same thing. So basically, once we get there, we will probably be in good company of probably 8 to 10 guilds. Which is still cool because it would kind of triple the income compared to the example that Tails did. So basically, last place would give you 300. But then depending on how you score, you could get 500, 800, 1,000 per player in the beginning. But then the more people rank up, or the more guilds rank up, also those rewards deteriorate.
So right now we're in TNA 1 is in level 5 with. So we need to go, and we're 200,000 DEC away, and we don't have enough merits. So we could be level 6 like after this brawl, but then we would need, I'm gonna say, 4 more brawls if we really crushed it. Because I think didn't we get about 200 and so?
No, 110 I think we got last.
Okay,
one.
And then we won that one, right?
Yeah, I think we need 500 to go to the next tier with the arena.
Yeah, it's it says 6. You need with the arena you need 675 crowns to move on to level 6, and we currently have 350. So that's
okay.
350, and we need 675. So that's three
weeks. 3 to 4 weeks.
Dang.
But still, then this would be tier 3 still. It's not tier 4 yet.
Yes,
because level 7 gives you the tier 4.
Yeah. Dang. I want that.
Yeah. It's but still, I mean, if we can continue to perform that well in tier 3, we're going to be well off. I mean, if it's 300 per participant, it's still a good chunk of money.
What's that color? What's that culture?
The next one's 1,000 crowns.
Yeah.
So if you're getting 100 every time, that's, you're looking at 10 weeks.
Exactly.
9 weeks maybe if the brawls are 5 days.
Yeah. And that's if we got 110 crowns when we won it. So, hopefully we can win, but we're probably not going to win. We're not going to win 12 out of 12, I don't think.
Right. Yeah, we're getting 50 or 60 in our second place, third place. Like if we get into that first place, we'll get 80. So like we've been trying to time our arena, and we've got the 506. So we're kind of looking at, 3 or 4 weeks before we can do this arena to level 6. You know, that has been our focus for like 3 or 4 months.
Wow, there's so much to like. I wish I could just throw some money at this and make it happen, but that's the thing about guilds. You gotta put in the time. You gotta like grind and get those crowns, and you can't pull out the credit card. It's just like it's time and effort.
Yeah, you can't buy crowns. There's
No.
no like the only way to do that is to get guys to work and earn them for you.
Mm-hmm. I wonder are there any other time and attention leagues that are in that 4th tier? No, right? None of them.
No, in general, in the whole Splinterlands guild universe, I think there's none yet, or one.
We got TNA right now. We got TNA 7 at rank 21, 35 for TNA 1, 10 is at 92, 2 is at 102, and then there's a couple of 160 range. Man, it's like all the competitiveness is going up, even on the like bottom basement, like the extra one, which is like 4 and yeah, they're all scooting up there, which is great.
This is TNA 8. That we do most of our recruiting into this guild.
Yeah.
And Desire is the dump one in our guild in 10 and in 8 that does most of our recruiting and talking to the new players and making sure they know what's up. And I delegate cards to him kind of so that he, essentially pay him for his time.
Cool.
So we just promoted one of the guys out of this into our main guild just to get to that 16, but he's not what we're trying to put into X. We are trying to get gold and diamond players, but it's just hard. There's few and far between, and they all already have guilds.
Every now and then I see an account out there that has a crazy amount of cards and they don't even have a guild, and you're like, oh wow. How do
I contact them? That's so brutal. You see those guys? I had a couple in silver, and I wanted to contact them. No chance. No chance.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah, we need to chat in the game.
Totally. Like, look at the leaderboard right now. I'm scrolling down. There's the silver leaderboard, number 14, no guild. Silver leaderboard 23, no guild. I'm not looking at their cards, but they're on the leaderboard. Even silver, I bet they're strong players. Silver leaderboard 38, no guild, and that's just silver. But then I bet every tier has the same thing. I'm guessing. Yep, number 9 in gold has no guild. Like, these guys got huge. I would think amazing decks, and they probably like a real knowledge of how to succeed. There's at least a handful of like exceptional players that you just wish you could reach out to and communicate. Who knows if they're even paying attention to like YouTube, for instance. Maybe they're just playing the game. I don't know.
Or exceptional players that are in small guilds, and you say like, hey, look, you can play with the big guys.
Yeah.
And if they are exceptional, then they will fit in right away.
Yeah, you're right. Oh man, and Diamond, on the Diamond leaderboard, the 5th best player in Diamond right now has no guild. And then the 6th also.
Yeah, there's a handful of them for sure.
But they actually have, I think they just rent maybe because it says they have low power right now. So maybe they just rent to play, and then I don't know.
Hookapuk joined. Butters is kind of listening but not saying anything.
What's up, Butters?
It's great to have you guys.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm right here. I'm just eating cookies and stuff, but I'm listening in. And sounds good.
Yeah.
Did you figure out how to get your Runi?
So I'm just looking at tackling that right now. I was able to get a little bit of help from one of the guildies for the B&B here. I'm a little kind of noobish at this, so I don't want to make a mistake. So I'm just kind of like triple checking everything. My dilemma now is I have Ethereum that I can send from Coinbase to my MetaMask wallet, I believe. But I also want to take some money that I have on the BNB Smart Chain. I have EMP money, and I want to sell that and also add that to my pile to complete the mint.
Mm.
I'm just kind of, it's a little complicated, that's all. But I think I'm working through it.
What I found, I mean, I usually do it with Binance, like I said before, but it should work with any exchange. They usually have, for example, you can have certain coins on different chains. But if you send them to the exchange, then they go into like a multi-chain account. And from there, for example, you have BNB on the Binance blockchain, and you send them to your exchange, and then you could resend them back to the MetaMask on the ETH blockchain.
Okay, I think I see what you're saying. Okay. So would like is Pancake Swap something like that, or which exchange might you recommend that I should try on? I'm looking at Pancake Swap right now.
Have a look which exchange is working together with the Ethereum blockchain.
Okay.
And if you can get the crypto that you want to change to this exchange or to this swap, then you can swap it there and bring it back to, or kind of. I think it needs to be an exchange. It can't be a swap because then you're still on another.
It's still on the same chain, huh? Okay,
Yeah.
I think I see what you're saying.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
I can tell you what I do with to get on my crypto.com, I purchase BNB and it is on the Ethereum blockchain. I send it into my Trust wallet, which is just a little app on my phone. Trust wallet is kind of like MetaMask, but it has a little bit more cross-chain capability. So I send the BNB, it's called the Beacon chain.
Okay, I saw that.
And then I send it to Trust Wallet.
Okay.
And then inside Trust Wallet, I hit swap and I swap it into Binance Smart Chain and I send it to my MetaMask on the Binance Smart Chain. So
it kind of sounds like what Oscar was saying. Yep.
Yeah, it's just a different wallet that I use instead of using a centralized exchange like Binance or Crypto.com or something.
Yeah, I was looking into a little bit of it yesterday. I want to explore all my options. I don't want to goof on the little BNB they sent me for the transaction fees.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the only thing. I have extra cash to kind of move the money around. But the only problem is when you deposit into like a centralized exchange like Binance or Coinbase, that money won't be available to transfer out for some period of time, and I just don't want to.
Yeah,
I don't want to cut it too close.
That's why I use Trust Wallet, and it's like an app, it's like downloading MetaMask. You just write down the seed phrase,
Sure,
and then it's just a wallet, and it does a lot of cross-chain stuff. I think. Let me see here. Swap.
But he wants to transfer from the Binance Smart Chain to the Ethereum network. That's what he wants.
Yeah.
That takes a swap. You've got to swap it from the Binance Smart Chain into the Ethereum chain.
And what's the best way to do that? I guess is that the exchange, the centralized exchange kind of thing that he was saying earlier?
Like, if I was doing it personally, I would and I can do it right now for you. I can show you. Okay, I've got,
I have the EMP money on my MetaMask, but I think that is right.
It's going to be Binance Smart Chain.
Yeah, I'm on Smart Chain Network. Yeah, that's where it's at.
Yeah. So it's going to be, and it's called EMP.
Yeah, EMP money.
So I would go into the MetaMask and swap it into BNB, and then I would send that into my Trust wallet, and inside Trust wallet, I would swap it into BNB BNB Beacon chain, and then into Ethereum.
Oh, okay, yeah. So I have another group Google Chrome wallet. It's like the extension for Binance, and I think it'll allow me to do something similar too. Yeah. Okay. All right. I don't want to bore you guys all with this stuff, but I don't want to hog up the conversation here.
Well, it's cool, but you know, like just do $1 at a time or $2 at a time, just to make sure that it gets there and you see it. Don't send all of it at once.
Yeah, definitely. But
Yeah.
thank you so much for all the advice. I'll work through it right now, though, I think.
Okay.
But about the guild stuff though, one of the things that I was noticing is that when we started at tier 2, I kind of jumped into those alpha frays because it always just seemed like a fray that nobody wanted to occupy. I own a few alpha cards, but the rentals aren't too bad, and I was willing to put that forward. But what I'm noticing is like as we jump into tier 3, it becomes a little bit more expensive, which is we're still getting gladiator cards. But if we push into the next tier, I think we're going to need a serious alpha competitor on every team.
Yeah.
Because those rentals are you're going to be through the roof, right? If I don't know what tier 4 looks like, if that alpha fray is the exact same as it is in tier 3, but it seems like they tend to move up in levels. And if we don't have somebody that owns alpha cards in your guild, it may be very difficult to fill that fray. However, if we're earning significant brawl rewards, we may be able to draw somebody in, right?
And there's also a question of, there's always the balance of, if you're the worst in that tier, and you're just showing up and to take the L, like even that could theoretically be more financially lucrative than being the best, renting to win in tier 3. It could be. I don't know if that's accurate. I don't know in practice, but it'll depend on how many teams are up there and whatnot.
Yeah, but it would be very discouraging for all the other guys who rent to be very successful in their frays, and they know, oh, this guy in the alpha fray, he's always 0-8.
Hitting by I see what you're saying.
Personally, I wouldn't like it. I know that Necro doesn't like it, and Diesel would be very disappointed too. Maybe some others too. So.
And that's the thing too, is I don't want to just pretend like I'm the only person that's renting cards for the brawls too, because I know that in order to be competitive, a lot of you guys are renting cards, and I jumped into a gold tier fray, not a gold card, but a gold tier fray this time around to see if anybody wanted to pick up the alpha one, and I had significant rentals going on for my main account, so I figured it'd be a good time to jump in and test those waters. But just something that for us to think about. I think if everybody's going to rent, maybe staying in tier 3 is still quite affordable. I don't know what that looks like in tier 4 for alpha. That might kind of put it out of range for me, but just something to consider.
Yep.
Definitely, I totally get where you're aiming at. No, we definitely have to think about this long term. I would say it would be better to have people who own the cards for the frays. Because it's simply, I see this, it's very expensive to rent right now, and just imagine kind of the brawl rewards attract even more people and more people to rent. So I expect the rentals to go even higher than they are right now.
Yeah, and I see this. If I'm a little bit, if I'm not really on it, and I allow for the, usually generally when the brawl comes into play and you have the 2-day combat period come up, you kind of want to get in there and rent right away, because I've had experiences where maybe I wait towards the end. And some of the other brawls, maybe you experience this too, but with the limited supply of alpha cards, you kind of just end up not being able to get some of those cards, or the prices are just not in a range that you can really pay for them, reasonably afford to rent them.
I do exactly the same thing. I'm playing alpha beta in bronze level and tier 2 with my alt. It's exactly what I do. The minute it opens,
nice.
I'm renting.
Yeah, no, you have to. You really have to. Tier 2 is not so bad because my tier 2 rentals were a fraction of what the tier 3 ones are. But we're earning really good gladiator cards and good merits. And so I think if everybody's kind of pulling in the same direction, let's not rock the boat too much on that. Let's see what maybe the tier 4 experience is like. I don't want to start a whole argument about if people are how much everybody's renting and whatnot, but it seems like we're pretty successful how we're going, and I haven't heard any other complaints, but just kind of want to put that out there.
Great input. Diesel snuck in here too. Good evening, sir.
Got all kinds of guys in here today.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I'm Sean, by the way, guys.
Hey, Sean.
Kolsker. I'm Sean. Thanks for having me in TNA Legion. I have, what did we get in here about a month ago and just starting to get to know some of you guys.
Yeah. Man, it's great. It's awesome. Talking to Mass and just like getting, because he was around Time and Attention like literally the first day, and then just he and I have kind of been friends like since really, but we don't talk all the time. But he'd be a guy that I talk to about just things and the game and the guild and then. Yeah, just I know you guys have had this amazing community, and in part doing things like this and doing like lives and just kind of hanging out and trying to make efforts to really build community through Discord chat and through. So I really hope we can do this regularly, and maybe you're just in here, and then maybe it's like, oh, you can drop a comment in the members thing, and if I'm around, I'll pop on and. We can shoot the breeze about what's going on, or like talk. Like I've been thinking those things. Before some of you guys got here, Oscu and Sean and myself were talking about, and Butters heard some of it, I think, but just talking about moving up in the guild brawl and just trying to debate, like weigh those pros and cons. And it's hard sometimes through text message and Discord to think those things through. So it's really great to pop on and like hear Oscu think out loud, and same with Sean about we don't necessarily have everyone to fill the phrase if we move into those higher tiers, and then it's rent, like Butters was saying, the fees can go pretty wild. Everything's a give and a take, and we need to like think it through when we make those moves.
I'm totally all for pushing upwards though, and checking tier 4 and see what it looks like and see what the competition is. And if we have to bite the bullet with kind of a rough loss in there somewhere, at least we know where we stand, right?
Mm-hmm. Did you guys see, who saw Yuki's little like blog post or whatever talking about the Sude shaman?
I bought a Max Sude shaman right after the blog post.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you know.
I think it's genius.
Yeah.
I
Sean.
didn't see it yet.
Yeah, Yuki.
No, I didn't see that yet. I'll have to find that.
What was that about? Just a quick, maybe brief on that.
Yeah. So first of all, Yuki's like in Time and Attention, and he's like one of the he was reviewing.
Yuki's my boy.
Yeah. And he posts on Hive and talks about different like cards and meta observations, like, hey, this could work in this way, and here's why I think that, and here's some videos to kind of some battles so you can see it through yourself. And he was covering that Sude shaman. I'm gonna pronounce it that way. Maybe I'm pronouncing it wrong, but man, it was. And then Hawks21 covered it. He read
Recharge Magic Monster, right?
Yeah, that Recharge Magic Monster,
yeah.
green team, and it's got that. Remember, at like the higher league levels, it's not just Recharge. It's got that double damage one, Giant Killer
or Death Blow,
Giant Killer. And so in the right situations, it could Hawks21 was showing clip, and he did 24 damage against a Last Stand Kron.
I just posted it in the chat of this kind of room.
Yeah, it's.
Thank you. I see it.
What happens also a lot of times is that there's a lot of magic reflect or what's the other kind of archery reflect,
Mm-hmm.
and if you use the kind of the recharge monsters, only the base damage is reflected and not the multiplied damage.
Yep.
Which is actually great because first of all, you hit like for 9 with this guy, but just 3 is calculated to be thrown back at you. So I think the throwback is just 2 damage.
Mm-hmm.
If you're hitting an Almo Cambio, for example.
Yep.
And I think the point that Yuki made is that even better to use it in blast rule sets.
Mm-hmm. Totally.
Because this is really deadly. Just imagine the other team has an Almo and a Cornelius in the first and second position, and they throw back a lot of damage,
Mm-hmm.
and they can self-heal and stuff. They can sustain quiet for a long time. But then when you play this guy, he hits for 9. Each of those two guys, he hits for 9. So that means they're almost dead. And then you just need 1 or 2 hits from the other guys, and then it's over.
You know what this made me think? This made me think like, well, maybe there's a bit of a like, because recharge has been kind of mocked, I would say, like at every level since it launched. Like people, Zyvax Vul was the first one, that Archer Dragon with recharge, and I would say I don't know about you guys, but I almost never see Zyvax Vul playing, like pretty well ever.
Yeah.
And it's got recharge, it's got that, it's even got close range, so it theoretically, like if it gets to the first, it still can keep firing. But and death blow too, it's only like literally $10 or $11 for a max level copy of that Zyvax Vul. It's a legendary card. I mean, even for the CP, it's like potentially interesting. But I don't know, man. Like maybe there's more to this. But I think the Sudi Shaman with the magic is it leans in with the existing Obsidian in a way that makes it maybe uniquely interesting, like even compared to, for instance, Zyvax, or even convinced to Ifrit Rising, which is the fire one. The fire one's also about $10, $11 for a max copy, which seems pretty reasonable for a max level force, and it's got the force field, so I like it. But I mean, it doesn't have the plus magic summoner to work with, so there's.
Do you play that card, Dwayne?
Ifrit Rising.
I don't really play that card. Yeah, I don't really play it.
Yeah, I use it, but I use it almost. I use
back to basics, almost.
Exactly. But I mean, look at it though. For a back to basics, it's got 8 hit points. It's got
decent speed,
3 damage, 3 speed. I mean, it's a decent magic dealer, and fire doesn't necessarily have a ton of cheap, high hit point.
Magic.
High magic damage. It's not.
I agree.
It's probably not elite in that context, but it's definitely in a high.
At the price point. At the price point, it really works, right?
And in those 99 mana matches, like I mean, you never have enough. You never have enough of those big beasts with the big hit points.
I mean, you play long enough, and you tend to find that every card has some type of utility, right? You get that one match set where you're like, oh, this one's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, some cards are a little bit rougher to find their utility cases.
But again, try to play Ifrit Rising in a blast rule set.
Yeah.
Just try and put a Magnor in the first round, kind of in the first place, so that he survives the first round.
Mm-hmm.
In the second round, if you hit a blast for 9, the tank is obliterated with 1 shot. And
the second tank too.
The second tank too. So both of them. Just imagine you're playing the typical dragon team. They're instantly dead. So if you play them with a Pyre or with the new Yatsek, well, Yatsek is even worse. Play him with Yatsek in a blast rule set.
Yatsek could work. I see Yatsek.
Because then he hits for 9, but with Scattershot somewhere in the enemy.
Hopefully in the middle.
For wherever.
Yeah,
and then he blasts. He blasts for 7, I think. 6 or 7.
Yeah, you can even put him in the back with the force field.
Yeah.
There's some use cases.
Yeah, try to use him with speed and with blast.
Yeah.
You will see amazing results with this guy. I play him quite some times, yeah.
You guys are making me want to spend I got 200,000 DEC and I'm burning a hole in my pocket here. But
don't spend that, bro. It's going up in value.
Wait for the pump.
Yeah, you're right. Like wait for the pump. Wait for the pump. Plus, like if those, I'm not entirely like. There's a lot of. Most people share the like. I hope those DEC proposals don't pass viewpoint, but I'm not entirely convinced those DEC proposals won't pass. And then I would like to be able to buy Rift Watcher packs if they pass that, despite my desire for them not to. I'm gonna take advantage of it. Like I'm gonna try and use DEC to get into there and using that triage opportunity, and because man, those Rift Watcher packs there's an arbitrage play. Like if they said DEC 5,000 DEC for one Rift Watcher pack tomorrow, that's like $2.75 for a pack, and you're gonna open it and sell those for a profit, and get airdrops.
I think it'll devastate the value of the cards in the packs, both of them. But I think even if the proposals don't pass, we're gonna have to look at the SPS votes and stuff. But even if they don't pass, I think the team has made a significant stance on wanting to drive value towards DEC by reducing the supply and increasing the utility in game through products backed by the team.
Mm-hmm.
And I think people are acknowledging that, and that's where we see the confidence even before these proposals are even on the chopping block, right?
Yeah.
So I think there's a good outlook on DEC to move up a little bit because you just see the team's going to want to drive value there, in my opinion.
Yeah. Yeah, it's moved up a good 100, I don't know what to call it, basis points. Splintoshis, I think is what they call it. It's moved up a fair bit. Like it was, DEC was 0.0005 something. And
if
now
you had it 3 days ago, you're probably up like 15, 16%, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah. Adding up.
Yeah, I've got a chunk of it. I'm pretty stoked. I bought a bunch when I put in my ETH for my Runis.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting on...
I bought some in preparation for Lux Vega.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I bought extra, was with Lux Vega. I've got 590,000.
Nice. Yeah, I honestly thought about literally selling all my crypto, all of it. Like I've got a lot of money out there, and I just was like, let's put it in DC and let it ride, because I thought I thought some of these things are gonna happen, and that opportunity, like it feels like it did 3 years ago or 2 years ago, whenever Untamed went was out, and I was saying to myself, like, DC's below peg, and I can arbitrage the DC. I can sell my other crypto, buy DC, and then buy packs at like a 30% discount, and then, have better access to the game that I think I believe in and I like. And that's how I was able to, get where I am now. And it feels like this moment might be another opportunity like that, but that's like a 4-year play. And I kind of don't want to just double down in such a big way. I kind of want to stay a little bit agile and give myself different opportunities.
Yeah, you don't want to put all your eggs in one basket,
It's what I did 4 years ago, though. I did put every egg I had into one basket, and it worked. But yeah, I mean, maybe it doesn't this time, and then you're kicking yourself.
I'm pretty much like 80% of my crypto is Splinterlands.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm probably like 50-50 or something like that. Maybe not quite.
I'm pretty deep, boys. I'm in pretty deep. Like I think I'm 80-something%. Probably sounds about right. I got some other investments, but crypto not so much anymore. I folded a lot in here. No regrets. No regrets.
Yeah, none.
Yeah.
And that bag has grown. If I would even say multiplied since I brought it in anyway. So, but you also have the time and effort that we're putting in. But I'm with Dwayne. I think we're in here for the long haul, and if we catch that wave back up, it's going to be tremendous.
Oof.
Yeah, I think we've got a year to accumulate, and I love people being all disgruntled and all the drama, and I'm just like buying and buying and buying. I'm just picking up cards, and I'm loving it.
Yeah, I'm right there with you.
Finally have a deck.
Yep.
Yeah, same here. I'm trying to like I said a few minutes ago, I want to deploy some of this DEC. I want to buy some of these cards. There's so many great cards, gold foil, Rift Watcher cards, like really special cards here for not very much at all. $50 on a high bid for the Mortius, that opportunity monster. I'd say he's probably going to be just as important as, for instance, the Sandworm. Of course, is not neutral, so it's only going to be for your fire team. But Mortius to me is a very powerful.
And with that stun, if they're going against each other, if he hits first and stuns, then the other guy's just sitting there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big deal.
Mortius is slower, but at the same time, Mortius is going to can partner with Jasic, and Jasic is then going to have that I don't always like to do archery or magic with my Yasik. I like to do like melee, and you can do a 6 melee team opportunity sneaks, and take advantage of that piercing damage from Yasik, and as well as the +2 speed. So I think Morty, and he's $55 for the high bid on Mortius Gold Foil, and that's a legendary melee monster. So you're talking $200. You're getting a max level gold foil for a card that is, in my opinion, really lethal. It's tempting, but then that's not the only angle, man. Like, summoners are cheap, packs are cheap. Just holding DEC is probably a good plan.
When I would probably wait until you can buy the Riftwatcher packs for DEC, and when this happens, then you will see the gold foil probably drop to 35 or something.
Ooh, see, that makes sense to me.
Because there's much more supply on the market. At the moment, nobody's buying because SPS went down, and they don't want to spend the amounts of SPS required.
Mm-hmm.
But if they can get it at a discount, like 50-40% discount,
Yep.
people are going to buy those packs, open them, and whatever they don't need, they will put on the market.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting to buy a couple of Riftwatcher cards too. Ilthane, for example. I haven't bought a single copy.
Yeah, I guess I'm not really buying Rift Watchers quite as heavy as I'm buying Chaos.
Yeah. You like the Ilthane best?
Of the new summoners?
Yeah.
Yes, definitely. All the others, apart from the red one, the green one has use cases, but all the others are absolutely inferior to what is on the market right now, and I haven't found a use case for Skargwar, to be honest.
What about the fact that I feel like some cards, I feel like maybe Aquatis is and Dallin which are the two cheapest, and I think they're probably the two cheapest with a good reason. But what about the fact that, and anybody who wants to answer, I'd love to hear it, but what about the fact that, like, Cripple with Dallin, it gets better if you have monsters that have double strike, and there's almost certainly going to be more double strike monsters, whether neutral or death, that are going to be able to partner with Dallin. Like, maybe not next week, but those are coming, and as they come, that's like almost a promised increased value to a Dallin. And then Aquatis, the same idea but different thing. Like, he has backfire, so what you'd want like 6 speed monsters with blind or dodge or flight, those sorts of abilities, and the more of them there are, the more satisfying a backfire team would be. Phase also is another part of that conversation. Do you think that those get stronger as the decks get more interesting, or maybe the others have the same thing, like, too?
In theory, you're right, but you have to see what those if you have blue and you want to play Aquatis because you think it's kind of evasive and you will have a lot of dodges.
Mm-hmm.
But then Kelia is available too, and Kelia has 1 more speed than Aquatis, so that
and a shield.
Yeah, if you put the same team on the field, the other guy's never going to miss.
Yep. Yeah, I see your point.
So that's a bit the point. And then I was looking. I had the same idea with Thispa like you had, but then I was looking at the dragons, and really in the dragon team, you just have Naga Assassin, who is quite fast.
Void Dragon, maybe.
Void Dragon already has the face.
Yep,
he doesn't need
that's
it
the
anymore.
problem. Yep, that's it.
And then you have Dragon Jumper, who you never want to have in the first row. Same goes with Vigilator. You probably could use Dragon Spirit, which nobody's using right now, because he has no attacks. And Runic Skyclaw is fast too, but those guys are never in the focus of being hit with magic.
There's too little bit of magic going to the back line, really.
That's a bit the problem. The only thing would be if somebody was to if a Chaos Dragon in the enemy team is going to attack Runic Skyclaw with the Scatter Shot in the back. That would be the only use case I see.
Ooh, Dragon Spear is nice with that, though, isn't it? 9 hit points. immunity, redemption, flying,
Yeah.
6 speed.
I like the Dragon Spirit a lot.
I have him rented. It's great backline or frontline tank just to have him there. And once he's
flying
dead,
match. Those flying
So
poison
immu-
matches.
Immunity. I mean, this guy's a beast. Nobody plays him. I get him for very cheap.
Yeah, if you can get him for cheap, I take that card all day. He's a modern card, I believe, too. So
$96 for a max level copy, $93, and I'm tempted right now.
It depends on where your deck's at.
Yeah, Dwayne, probably
You could probably use him.
How I define if it's worth kind of buying the card or not. If I can rent him for below, I don't know, 20 or 30%, then I will never buy him because it's so cheap. Just have.
I'm like that too.
The trick is the rental prices just vary so rapidly. Like the rental prices can go up, go down. And I saw somebody drop a comment on one of my videos recently. It's pretty insightful. He's like, when you buy one BCX cards based on their rental prices, understand a couple things. One, this is not exactly what you were just saying, but just like food for thought around rentals and looking at BCX rental costs before deciding to buy. He's like, if you buy one BCX cards for the purpose of renting them, because the rental value is suggested to be high on your favorite website like Splex or Splint, wherever you look, understand that there are people who will grab 50 copies of that card and rent them for 10 DC each, knowing that they won't, for one BCX, knowing that it won't rent, but not caring because you are manipulating the perceived like floor for that rental card. You're making it look like a lot of cards are rented or listed for 10 BCX, and that's normal, and that's going to sell or rent. And even if it doesn't, all you have to do is like create that perception, and then you might actually spark purchasing of that one BCX card, or at least maybe not spark purchasing, but you might you as an individual trying to find those like have to look past those. It's kind of a confusion or like a trick almost, and make sure you're not falling. But that's not exactly what you're saying, but still, it's worth knowing.
I think we saw something like that with the Zenith Archer, right? Where everybody wanted it and the liquidity was really low at some point, and the bots came in to buy it, and all of a sudden, it was renting at some crazy amount of DEC and selling for a crazy price.
Yeah, it was renting. I think it might have been renting for like, right now it's renting for 0.142 DEC. And it was renting for the single BCX was renting for like over 10 DEC, like you were saying before. Yeah.
It was like a liquidity problem, I feel like.
Yeah.
And when the market turns, it turns really fast.
Absolutely.
Guys, this is great stuff.
I would say Dragon Spirit is not a meta card, so you can easily rent it for around 50 DC a day, and then spending $100 on it, I don't think it's worth it at the moment.
At 50 DEC, yeah. Because one of the things I do is I look at, okay, how many times am I possibly going to rent this card? If I rent it for a year, would I have been able to own the card? And that's kind of one of the things that I go by. If I can rent that card at a 10th, a 20th of what it costs to buy it. Like, I can rent it for the whole year at like a 10th of what it costs to buy it. I think maybe that's a good trade-off for me, especially if the value is really high, but the utility is also high.
Yeah, there's something called a principle in economics called, what's it called? It's the time value of money. And it means like, it's essentially like a fancy way of saying like a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush. Like that idea of, like if you can get away with spending, let's say 50 cents a day to rent a card, but it would cost you, or let's say you could spend $10 a year renting a card for the whole year, or you could spend $100 and own it. Well, first of all, you're going to lose some sort of opportunity. Possibly you could have bought it and it might have appreciated. Possibly you're going to try and rent it and the rental price is going to go up. You can't hold on to those. You can't know for sure what's going to happen. But if you rent it, you've got $90 like plus that you don't have to commit across a full year that you can then put to work in other ways.
Yeah, exactly. Opportunity cost, and then even if, okay, am I even going to have this card for 10 years? Am I going to play it for 10 years, right? If I'm paying $10 to play it for the year versus $100 to own it, I mean, I think that's just a huge outlook on it. Even though my outlook for the game is probably, several years, 3-4 years maybe, I think that's a little far outlook for me. And then, like you said, the opportunity cost of having those $90 where I can play somewhere else is really nice too.
Kitty is generating Kitty's generating $6 a day right now.
Kitty is crazy, but you can't buy Kitty right now. I think it's 4,500 or something like this for a max Kitty.
Mm-hmm.
And with Rebellion coming to cycle them out soon, no.
Yeah.
I rented it in gold.
Very high.
I couldn't. I put it to use a couple times, but Yodin is what you really want. And for me, I really liked Yodin there and Valnamore and Wild when I made the push today. But I rented Kitty for kind of cheap because it was like 900 DEC, 850 DEC. I really didn't put it in, but also a lot of my matches I was stretching into diamond, so that was part of the issue too. With gold cards, yeah.
Good stuff, guys.
No, very, very good point. I see the Kitty problem. I was thinking about buying one, and then first of all, I thought like, oof, 4,000 in the current situation, and then second, in half a year, it's going to rotate out, which is going to hit the price heavily.
Yeah. Do you think that stays like an important card even as it rotates out, or is it? Of course, it stays an important card. Is it still? Does it lose? You kind of just implied that the value would tank when it goes into wild. Do you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
I think so, because then, I mean, at the moment, you can use it in both leagues. That means there's a high demand. And look at just look at me. I mean, I'm relatively new to the game. I'm here for a year now. I made a heavy investment around December, January. And I focus on newer cards because I don't have the cash to buy all the old cards, and I don't want to.
Yeah.
And there are many people like this, and they want to compete at the highest levels, and they rent.
Yes, sir.
If you don't have those 30, 40 champ aspiration guys renting, you don't have demand or high enough demand to rent out Kitty for the same prices as today.
I agree. That, you know what, Kitty didn't go for this much. You see the max level cards have significantly gone up in value because the earnings are there too. And so there's people that can figure out the economics behind the renting and then have the skill to be able to play up there even though they don't own the cards.
Yeah. Narcata. He's spending $70 a season on rentals.
No, that's not true. It's more 70 a day.
Is it what that like? Well, maybe over all of his accounts. I'm just looking at the data from the one account he has in our guild.
Because what happens here, I have a full Chaos Legion deck. I have the key Rift Watcher cards maxed, and I still rent for 25 or 27,000 a day.
That's for competing in champion.
That's for competing in champion.
What's that?
I can do gold with my Chaos Legion, no Rift Watcher cards. I can do gold between 3,000, 5,000. If I want diamond, it's like 7,000, 8,000. Champion, like 12,000, 13,000. And it's just struggle for me because I have the gold cards mostly. Some of them are diamond. 4 diamond summoners now.
Wow, that's so much DC, guys. Like
I think my rentals per season is between 150 and 200.
But I mean, I double the DEC expenditure just in the SPS earnings on the fights, right? And then the chests are a free roll after that. Actually, sometimes triple even.
What about tournaments? You guys using tournaments to like help that pay more better for you?
No tournaments at all. 0.
I'm trying to build up the SPS bag for the meaningful ones.
When I talk to Kush, he supports my channel. He's like one of the bigger investors in Splinterlands. And he has said that like he runs a number of scholars, and he has a whole system where like he gets like there's a whole thing. He has people who oversee that for him, and they like recruit the best of the best. And if you're not cutting the mustard, you're out. And he'll foot the SPS on the account to get it to a level that can enter all the important tournaments. and then he'll pay the fees, but then they've got this thing where they negotiate, you get X and I get Y out of the payout. And the best of the best like make a ton of money that way with those cards. But that's like, I don't know, maybe the time value, maybe there's a huge commitment to know that that sort of environment and those, the competition there. But I do know that there's real money to be had if you're competing at the higher levels in those things.
Does he know Butters got top 16?
No, Dwayne, what's happening right now with the tournaments, if you look at the champ tournaments or diamond tournaments, the problem is to compete kind of for the top places, you have to rent like I do or even more. And then the rewards are not there. If I make it to the second round and place, let's say, top 30, I just get as much SPS in rewards from the tournament as I would have gotten playing or winning in regular ranked games. So I probably get 120, 150 SPS. And then I say, like, you know what? I prefer to play ranked because then I know every win gives me 15, 20 SPS. So I don't bother playing any tournaments right now.
It's much more consistent to win that SPS, I found too. But I'll squeeze in some tournaments if I can, and I definitely want to lean in there because that's going to be something that the team looks like they're expanding upon. I dropped a little bit of SPS to go to Splinterfest, so I'm just recouping that now. But I'm recouping it at a tremendous rate because, like I said, I have these DEC expenditures for rent, but I'm pulling in 2-3 times the amount of SPS. So it just becomes like a cash flow situation where I just need to make sure I have the DEC coming in, and I can cash out some of that SPS later on for more DEC to keep that engine running.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And if I play every tournament I
right
can.
Direction. If SPS tanks and DEC goes up, that's not good.
No, we want them both to go up.
Let's not talk like that.
I play every tournament I have the SPS for, but my deck is better than my SPS stake. Like, I could be playing in some of these diamond tournaments that I need like 25,000 SPS for, and I've only got 16. But in a month or two, I'll be playing in those tournaments, and my deck really just got there in the last 6 weeks.
Yeah, same. I'm pulling in like maybe, I don't know, it's hard to say, like maybe like 4,000 or 5,000 DEC a month at this rate, just off of those wins. Some of it's trade off from DEC that I'm using for rent, but I haven't done all that math, but Splex also helps with some of that. Somebody called me out the other day and was asking me like, well, show us your Splex. And I got on there and I was like, oh man, what if it's not like I'm saying it is, And right there it shows you the rental expenditures versus what you bring in. And I'm pretty much doubling up at least every time, if not more than that.
Cool.
That's nice. Yeah, Necromancer showed me where I can see kind of the season comparison between rentals and what I got out of chests and everything. And was interesting to see. So for Champ last season, I did $150 or $160 plus, like net plus. That was nice.
Yeah, that's real nice. Here's mine on my screen here. It shows my rentals at $12. I brought in 25, so I made $14.
Yeah, that's rad.
And that was 12 diamond chests. Just getting into diamond with 3 days. This time I got in with 8 days. But then yesterday I wasn't paying attention, and I opened my chest when I had lost a match and was low power. So
you were in gold.
Yeah, I'm back in gold for 1 day, but I'll get 6 or 7 days this time. So every season's getting better.
I can say the same here. I get to champ faster every season. That's nice.
You guys have some interesting stories. Mine's definitely different, and I think maybe you already know, but like I said, I'm renting 75% of my cards for pretty well the entire season, and with the exception of I cancel those rentals when the guild brawl is about to go. and I queue up, and I'm filling that alpha beta reward fray, and it's been going well in the gold league, I think. But like I've only got 19 season chests, and we've only got like queued up here, and I've got 4.5 days left. And but in part, man, like I just did the math. Like I looked at it, and it's like I could earn $80 a season, maybe 100 if on a decent season across all my accounts. Well, that's not counting my dailies. Maybe it's $150 across all my dailies, across all my seasons. If I play all of my things and I use the bots to kind of, work a number of different accounts, or I can just turn on, auto renter and get, $200 to $300 for the season, guaranteed from rentals. And so then I'm just doing that with nothing at all and with no problem. And then I can use, if I want cards, which I do, I can deploy that DEC to access, really inexpensive cards in the marketplace to grow that rental portfolio and just rinse, repeat. But
yeah, I like that.
But victory is important to me too. So got to represent the guild. So I'm like, I'll cancel all my rentals and forfeit, 100,000 DEC twice a season kind of thing, maybe 3 times a season, to pull in all the aces. So I'm ready to go and win that one fray. And now my buddy Mike, who some of you met, in Splinterfest, he's into it now. So I delegated him a ton of like 500, 600,000 power, and he's having fun with those.
When do you remember that kickstarted my silver career? You delegating me a bunch of cards?
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's really crazy to see.
That was amazing.
It's crazy to see how some of the boys have grown, including yourself. Like, I mean, the team, like most of you guys didn't know this game at all. And then like Hugh's here, and he's quiet, but he's gone deep on this thing, and just like the stories have grown and grown and grown through the months now, right?
Yeah, I think it's really interesting, man. I think that's a huge part of what draws a lot of people to this community as well, is, just the upward trajectory, not just the finance stuff, but you see people getting on social media, connecting through Discord and stuff like this on this chat. It's an interesting thing that you don't see in a lot of other game environments for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Streaming as well. Look at you, Butters.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a little surprised at myself, man. Traveling to Splinterfest and streaming, just taking one step at a time. When a door opens up, I just try to step through it, and it's been an awesome experience. Same thing with Dwayne. I still remember the day that he made the guild, and and just like begging him to let me in, and there's just so many people in chat. I don't think he can see it. You know how he is with the chat when he's streaming, And so man. And I think I sent him a couple challenges, and I got a win renting a bunch of cards that I had no business renting. And and I said, hey, you know what? I go, hey, if I beat you, shouldn't that give me a spot in your guild? And I think you agreed, man. And that's where we started. And it's been a great ride.
Yeah. Good times. Guys, this is awesome. I'm definitely going to pop in and do this more, Sean. Sean, I appreciate you, dude. I got to go though. Guys, I appreciate all what you're doing. Love you guys.
Thank you, 12, man. You take care, brother.
Bye.
Later, 12.